I'm Emily Jaycox, and I'm the librarian at the Missouri History Museum. And this morning I'm going to be talking about some of our most heavily used resources that we have in the research library, which are called fire insurance maps. They were created by companies who wanted to write insurance policies for buildings against fire, and they captured all this information about that would help them identify buildings that were either more or less at risk for fire. So what were they built out of? Was it brick or wood? What activities were taking place in the building that might be important to know in regard to fire risk? So for example, were there lots of people gathered in the building at one time, such as a church, a school, a theater, a factory? So they were created for a very specific purpose. But researchers today find all sorts of additional information in them that help illuminate the built environment, the landscape. It's helping people to understand the history of neighborhoods and the history of particular buildings. And so we have a map here to show you that has the South Side Day Nursery in its original building. It's right over here on the corner. And so you can see it in part of its neighborhood, in the Soulard neighborhood. It's just a block away from 10th and Soulard. So it's even labeled South Side Day Nursery, and that indicates that there were a number of people there. It had an institutional purpose, and many people would be there at one time. You can see that there's a little 2 here. There's very dense codes packed in here. So 2 means a 2-story building. The positions of windows and dormers are marked on here. And then there's a yellow would be for a wooden building. So there was a 1-story wooden structure in the back, maybe some sort of a shed. This was in the days where indoor plumbing was not universal by any means. So you'll see WC for water closet marked on a lot of these little buildings. So there was an outdoor toilet here. There was also AP, an ash pit. People burned their own trash. They didn't have trash collection the way we know of it today. So all of these things are marked on here. When you look at the South Side Day Nursery's lot, you can see that it was a corner lot. You can see that it was across the street from a school and a Sunday school for the Menard Street Mission. But you can also see that it was some small industrial things nearby. There was a hay and grain warehouse. There's coal and kindling was stored on this site. There's a tin shop here. There was a coppersmith in this building. The South Side Day Nursery, working mothers needed a place to leave their children that was safe and healthy. And many of the women may have lived within walking distance of the neighborhood. So you can start to imagine where their husbands might have worked, where what their home environment might have been like. You can see from here that there's an unbroken line of house fronts almost all the way down this block. So if you were walking down this street, you would see almost no side yards. Here's the only side yard on the entire block. This building is a little bit set back from the street, but other than that, it's an unbroken line of buildings. So there wasn't a lot of green space in these neighborhoods. Another thing we can learn about the neighborhood, even though this has to do with structures and fire insurance, you can learn something about the ethnicity. Some of the institutions here were very much identified with a religious or ethnic group, and that shows up on this map. So just a few blocks away from the corner where Southside Day Nursery was located, you have St. John Nepomuc's Bohemian Catholic Church and School, and then behind the church you have their Turner Hall. It says in parentheses, Bohemian, and the club rooms are in the back. So this would have likely been a very strong religious and social center for the Bohemian. One of the things that I love about these is, in addition to the richness of the information in them, they're just very, very beautiful to look at. The colors that they chose to code the building components, it just makes these so attractive and so appealing, even to someone who's never seen them before, who doesn't know the purpose of the fire insurance maps. But we were very, very pleased that we could see our own South Side Day Nursery marked right on the corner lot here.